Hi everyone, it's me, Janie B. And today's video, I'm going to be recommending 3 podcasts that you should be listening to if you are into horror movies. Yes, I realize that this list is short, but I'm a little late to the podcasting party, if you would. I've been listening to podcasts for about a little over a year. But there are 3 that I really absolutely love and wanted to share with you. And the only reason I am sharing 3 is because I tend to rotate with those 3, and those are the ones that I absolutely love. So I want to recommend something that is of value to you. So stick around and I will be making my 3 recommendations of podcasts that you should be listening to. And then if you stick around to the end of the video, I am going to add another podcast that doesn't necessarily go with a horror genre and offers something for those of you that are not really into horror, or if you're looking to listen to something that expands beyond the genre. So first up is Collider's Witching Hour. This podcast is hosted by Haley Fouch and Perry Nemroff. I find it to be very informative, and I'm always finding out about new movies to watch just from listening to their conversations. These ladies are in the festival circuit. They write for Collider. They have articles reviewing movies and ranking them. So this is their livelihood, and they're highly knowledgeable about the genre. So not only do they know their stuff, they're also so pleasant to listen to and extremely articulate and have a great dynamic. The thing I love about this podcast is that they are pleasant and they have such nice, soothing voices and interesting discussions. Next up is a horror movie podcast. And this podcast is sponsored by Shudder, so you can't go wrong with this one. This is hosted by Gilman Joel, Dr. Shock, and Wolfman Josh, with episodes such as top 10 horror movies of 2019 or more 2019 horror films for your consideration, as well as themed episodes like Zom-Com Phenomenon. What's not to like? Their episodes are lengthy and some are even over 2 hours long, but I find them to be entertaining and don't mind at all. I do listen to them in segments at a time. And what I love about the horror movie podcast is that I find it to be a nice companion to Shudder. I love Shudder. So this is kind of a guide that I have that helps me figure out what movies to watch, as sometimes I can find all of the selections on Shudder to be a little overwhelming. So it's a nice little companion to go along with my Shudder streaming. And the third podcast on my recommended list is Horror Movie Talk. It's hosted by David Day and Bryce Hanson. And what can I say? It's a fun podcast to listen to. These guys give the latest theatrical releases priority. So they usually post their podcast episodes to accompany the movies that have just been released. They're really good about posting weekly. So I do like that they're very consistent. And what I love about this podcast is that the guys they're funny, they're lighthearted, and they take a keeping it real approach to their movie discussions. So I really enjoy Horror Movie Talk. Now, you can find Horror Movie Talk on their website, horrormovietalk.com. And speaking of that, I'm going to also post the links for the previous 2 podcasts in my description below. So feel free to check it out. Now for the bonus podcast that I talked about in the intro. It is AfterBuzz TV. So this, I love it. It's known as the ESPN of TV talk. And I really like this podcast. If you're into TV, regardless of genre, I think you'll enjoy this because it has so many shows that it covers. I follow this podcast through Game of Thrones. I followed it through my guilty pleasures like Big Little Lies and HBO's Girls. At the moment, I am listening to their HBO's The Outsider series. So I really like this podcast because it has a discussion and then they move into predictions, and they're in pretty concise 30-minute episodes. So I really enjoy listening to their discussions on the shows that I love. So check out AfterBuzz TV as well. They have quite a selection of different editions, if you will, for different shows. So there you have it, my list of recommendations of podcasts to listen to. If you have any suggestions or any podcasts to add to that list, please feel free to drop a comment below. I would love to hear from you, and maybe eventually update this video to add more podcasts. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell button for notifications of other videos and when I upload them. I'm thinking about taking on the movie Parasite, as I'm seeing a lot of things being said about it, and apparently it was an Oscar darling. So I'm thinking I will upload a video on Parasite very soon. So come back to visit here at Sparkle in the Darkness. Until next time.